ready.
You're ready to do your first.
I'm ready to do my first.
Your very first podcast. All right,
Yes.
Jade Savage, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I want you to do a little intro on yourself. We're just
Okay.
gonna roll from there.
Okay. I grew up in a really small town in Arizona, northern Arizona. It's called Page. Have you heard of Page?
I have not.
Yep, that's the response I
Okay.
always get.
What's it near?
Lake Powell.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's the exact response I always get. Oh, where's Page? Lake Powell. Yeah.
Just start with that. Yeah.
From Lake Powell. Literally lived minutes from Lake Powell. Grew up there all through high school, one of the towns where everybody knows everybody. People I grew up with since I could walk.
Oh yeah. Small town living.
Small town. Really super small town, but one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see. Graduated high school there, and then I went to college in another small town in Utah, St. George, Utah.
Beautiful.
Back when it was called Dixie State. I don't think it's called Dixie
What year
State.
was this? What year did you graduate high school?
I graduated in 2008.
Okay.
So I got my bachelor's degree. I just kind of went to college because it was what I thought
The thing to do.
the thing to do.
Mhm.
I didn't really have something in my mind oh, this is what I want to be, this is what I want to do, but I got most of it paid for.
How?
Academics.
Okay.
School came pretty naturally to me. I wasn't really, I didn't have many goals at that point, but I was like, okay, this isn't going to cost me too much. Let's just do this thing, get a degree. I chose writing. I went down a couple different paths. I was maybe going to check out the medical field, and that was no, it's not for me. So
Why? Was it the
You know,
schooling, or was it just to have to deal with this nasty?
yeah, the classes were hard. That was the first time that I had experienced having to actually study and take time to work on school to be good at it. But I cannot get the smell of the anatomy class formaldehyde in it. That's just right. There's no blood, no anything, but just the picture of those bodies on the table and the smell. I was like, no,
Immediately
it
no.
still makes me nauseous. So thankful for the people who can do that.
That's why I asked, because
Yeah.
I look at doctors. There's certain things that gross me out. It's mouths, people's mouths.
Yeah.
Is an ick for me.
Yeah.
Hair, when I
Ooh.
and being a girl dad, I'm just covered in it all the
Oh
time.
my gosh.
But that doesn't grow. But other people, just hygiene
Yeah.
is my
Yeah.
thing. And I look at doctors and I'm like, God bless you.
I know.
So
right?
I understand. I guess I probably would have been the
Hair is
same
a
way.
big one. I can't even brush my hair until it's all the way dry. Because
Why is
it
that?
gives me just
Okay.
the cringe,
Okay.
wet hair. Anyways. Okay.
Side topic.
Side topic.
Kudos to the doctors and everybody that
Yes.
can make it. Not my
Appreciate
thing
all
either.
of them. So glad they're here. But I do love to write. I've got a secret stash of poetry and
Really?
stories, and yeah, that's something not a lot of people know, but
Why do you keep a secret?
it's very just very real. It's very straight from my brain, straight
Okay.
from my heart. One day I'm gonna get brave enough to do a what do they call a slam poetry or spoken word
Okay.
open mic and do my stuff. But I like to write. I've always enjoyed to write, so I chose the only degree on the freaking website that had writing in it.
Okay.
Got a bachelor's degree in writing, professional writing. Haven't used it.
Most college
I don't,
grads.
Yeah, I don't really even know yeah, I mean I could do quite a few things with it, but haven't used it. After college, I was I'm not ready to grow up, and people are what do you want to do and what do you want to be? And I'm I just can't, I have to choose one thing. Can't I try things out first? All this, not pressure, but a little bit of pressure.
The stigma of becoming an
The
adult.
stigma of becoming an adult, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
That's how I got forced in the military.
And now I think back and I'm I should have just gone into the military. I think I would have liked it. It wasn't even on my mind back then. After college, yes, I didn't want to get a real job. I went to Hawaii.
Straight out of college?
Straight out of college.
What made you just pick a spot on a map, or?
No, there was a boy.
Always.
Right. All the
Always.
most tragic.
I
all the
almost
most-
asked what was his name. I do that when I talk to buddies. They're like, "Oh, I ended up here." I'm like, "What was her name?" They're like,
Yeah.
"How'd you know?"
Yeah.
It's always somebody.
I know all the best and worst stories. There was a boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a boy who I had met the summer prior to me graduating. He was a fishing guide on Lake Powell.
Okay. Fishing guides.
And I had grown up fishing. I loved fishing, but, you know, it was always just like lakes, rivers, and stuff. And he went back to Hawaii after the summer because that's what he did for a living. I don't know, maybe probably still does. Fishes for a living. And when I graduated college, he gave me a plane ticket to come out and just visit, right? Graduation present.
Was it a one-way?
No, it was a round trip ticket. Okay. But when I got out there, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I just want to come here, and I just want to fish, and I just want to be on the beach, and I just want to swim with dolphins, and all of these wonderful things.
What island?
The Big Island. It's in Kona.
Okay. So fresh out of college, and you're just on a flight straight to Kona.
Yeah, pretty much.
What did your parents think of this?
I know.
What did your poor dad think of this?
I know.
Nobody ever thinks of the dads.
I know. No, that's my mom always tells this story. She goes, Jade, I was sad because I went on like this 2-week trip, and then I came back and I was like, you guys, I'm sorry, I'm going back.
It's calling me.
One-way ticket. I don't know when I'll be back. Who knows? And my mom loves to guilt trip me. She goes, Jade, your dad, I have never seen him cry that hard. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Didn't work though?
No, obviously.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. I got there, and it was great for a while. You know, my perfect fantasy world of living in Hawaii and fishing and no real responsibilities and no real problems until there was a problem with the relationship, and I had to make a hard decision, and I went back to Arizona.
I want to know what the fishing was like. I mean, you're with a fishing guide that does this. I mean, you guys had to have been doing some. I mean, that's one of the best places in the world to be doing. To be fishing.
For sure. Yeah, I was really lucky. I went on so many once in a lifetime trips.
Did you catch any? What are they? Black marlin out there? Or is it
blue
blues?
marlin.
Blues. Okay.
I caught a lot of blue marlin, but I caught 2 really, really big blues.
What's a big blue?
A big blue? Oh,
for
man.
you, what'd you catch?
For me, so I caught a 5. I'm trying
That's
to remember
big.
now. A 559.
That's big. You can say 560.
And a 580 and a half. The half counts.
100%.
Yeah. So
those are massive. How long did that take?
Oh, hours. Hours in that chair. Hours baking in the sun.
You start to finish it?
Start to finish.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. One of them, the 580 was for sure start to finish. I'm like, and I get violently seasick every time I would go out on the water, throw up every time. So I'm like heaving in the bucket, like
As
hours.
you're fighting this fish for
yeah,
hours.
I'm trying to think. The one that was 580, it died. It pretty much died on the way up. So it was like so much harder to bring it up because it was just all this dead weight. Whereas, if they're alive, then you'll catch them swimming up to the surface so you can hurry and reel that slack in. But yeah, really, really cool.
What was your favorite fish over there? I mean, they got dorado. I mean, you guys have everything.
Yeah. Oh no, a really cool fish. The ahi, obviously there's some really big ahi out there, but the mahi were so fun. So fun to catch.
Favorite,
yeah, they were wild, such strong fish, and we'd catch most of them stand up, so with the belts on, and yeah. Really,
Marlin's
really cool.
a pretty interesting fish. Like I've fished my whole life, but I have some buddies that are like hardcore guys. And I had a buddy of mine, very wealthy too, calls me in the middle of the night, and he's like, I need you in Cabo tomorrow. And I'm like, it's like 4 a.m. I'm like, what?
Oh
I'm literally like, he's blowing my phone. I thought it was a vet or buddy in trouble. And I see him, I'm like, okay, answer it. I need you in Cabo tomorrow. And I'm like, what? Like, what's wrong? And he's like, we're going to catch 100 marlin in 2 days. I need you down here. And I'm like, that's a thing? And he's like, I need you, send me a picture of your ID. And he literally, long story short, I fly to Cabo the next day. And we took his boat that he sailed from Georgia all the way to Cabo.
No way.
Just to do this trip.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was one of the crazy. We caught 99 marlin? In striped marlin, sorry. Caught 99 striped marlin in 2 days. And he was pissed because his goal was 100 on the way back.
Oh my gosh.
We're almost back to port, and we see all these frigate birds hitting the water, and we threw out the streamers, and we circled it, and we ended up catching 100, and that was it. And so, but
that's
that was
amazing.
It was obviously not as big of a fish as the blues, but I mean, that's such a fun fish just to catch.
Yeah, they're really fun. One of them, I felt bad. I was trying to get my dad out there to visit. It was going to be like my dad, my grandpa, my uncle, come do like a boys trip. We were going to take them fishing, and they couldn't make it. Stuff happened with their flights, got canceled. It was middle of the summer, and if I remember right, I was like, it's okay. Like, it's middle of the summer. The fishing's probably not going to catch that big blue. I took that trip, and I caught one of those, and I was like,
So how long did it take your dad to get over the fact that you just
I
up and
know.
left? Are you his youngest or what?
Oldest.
Okay, all right.
I have a younger sister, Tori. She's just as badass as
I feel like that
our
you
whole,
lived
like,
my
it's
my
my dad.
nightmare.
My dad had like, he was very passionate. We always joke he probably wish he had boys because we were just like.
Is he a girl dad?
He's a girl dad.
Good,
Yep.
good. Power to him. Love it.
Yeah. You know, not made us, but heavily encouraged us to do all the things that he liked to do. So lots of motorcycles and outdoors, snow skiing, water skiing.
So let's get into this real quick. So I'm a girl dad. Right?
Yeah.
So that was good that your dad, all right, I would like to pick your brain on this
Yeah.
because as a girl dad, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and especially like coming from an athlete side of things and, you know, I should have could have played college sports, whatever. And then
Yeah.
I joined the military. Everyone's like, you're going to have boys. You're going to have like little bam bams running
Yeah,
around.
I didn't know you were just a girl dad.
100%.
I love that.
And I have fucked up a lot of things along the way.
So do all dads, I'm
yeah,
sure.
right.
Yeah.
And so, but I look what I have now, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah.
I like having a daddy's girls.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have the princesses that can
yes.
get dolled up,
Yes.
be in a ball
That's
gown.
important too.
But at the same time, they're on the mountain with me, just grinding it out. But it's like, it's so hard because, you know,
Yeah.
how hard are you on them? Like, you know, how
Yeah.
much do you push a daughter? And, you know, my wife's always like, they're not sons, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, the fucking world doesn't care.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's hard
That's
to find
so funny.
that
I think my dad
balance.
had that same mindset because me and my sister joke all the time. Hey, Tori, remember that one time we were doing this trail way out? Who knows where we were? It seemed like it took us hours to get there, and we're both just bawling because we're little and we can't make it up this hill. And Dad's like, you guys are coming up that. Either you're staying down there or you're going to come up this hill.
What's the age gap between you and your sister?
3 years.
Okay.
She's 3 years younger.
So you guys were pretty tight growing up?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yep. I mean, your typical sibling, you know, you hate them and then you love them.
Mine
no.
fight so hard, but
yeah.
they love
yeah,
each other so much.
Yep. We love each other. Yeah, we're really
So
close.
he just would bring you, because my mentality is, I'm going to bring them everywhere with me, and they're going to
Yeah.
do everything I'm into, but at the same time, like, I want them to discover their own passions, and then obviously we'll back whatever
Yeah.
it is. But it's tough, because, like, as a boy, I feel like sons are so much easier, because they're just,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't know. I know a lot of guys that have sons, and they're fucked up. Like,
yeah.
they're
No,
either
it's
too hard,
it's
not
true.
hard enough. They don't have the right discipline. So it's like finding that balance. But then
I
with
know.
girls, with me being this rough and tough
Yeah.
dude, and then now I have to like conform to, I had to
Yeah.
learn like, why are we crying over math? Why are we, and my wife's like,
I know,
their daughter.
I know.
Like, we're crying over a math problem.
I remember, my dad the same way. He'd be like, dude, I just, you know, when we get a certain age and the emotions and everything sets us off, I just don't know. I don't know. And you know, but girls are pretty easy to read for the most part. And no?
I mean, and then when the hormones start kicking
I
in
know.
and the changes,
It's rough.
it is
It's rough.
wild. It is. Nobody
Yeah.
preps you for
Oh, I know.
for any of this.
I don't have kids, so I can imagine.
But
I
you went
know.
through it. I mean, you gave your dad a lot of nightmares, I'm
Yeah.
sure, between you and your
yeah.
sister.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's where I'm at now. I'm like at that stage where I'm just like, what's next? And now I have all the boys sniffing, you know, having a
Yep.
16-year-old, and they're all full
Yep.
rut chasing around the house. And I'm just like,
I know. You
pissed
got to be careful.
off.
You got to be prepared.
Everywhere
I
we go,
know.
what's your snap? What's your snap?
My
I'm
dad,
standing right there.
the nicest person, the most gentle, nicest, kind, approachable person. But every boyfriend, my sister and I would bring over, like, dude, your dad is so scary. Your dad, I think you have to be like that a little bit.
Have to. I feel like, and my wife, you know, because like kid came over this year and asked to take my daughter to prom, and we know his dad and I work together.
Yeah.
Great family, and so I was like, oh, you know, I knew it was gonna happen. I'm like, you guys know my rule, like, and the way that I look at it is like, I just want to set up these boundaries, and I don't know if they're right or they're wrong, but you know, when it comes to dating and all this that's going on, like, we're a very tight family.
Good, yeah.
Like everything is shared.
I love
There's
that.
no secrets. Like, our kids ask us, like, obviously age appropriate, but you know, hey, you're not old
Yeah.
enough for that yet. But if it's age appropriate, that's one thing that we do not. You're gonna ask, we're gonna tell you the truth, and
Yeah.
if you don't think you're mature enough to understand the truth, then we'll wait for it.
Right.
But so when it comes to dating, that's been one of my biggest battles, because it's like, is it an age thing? Is it a maturity thing? And so you're always torn as a dad. And so I feel that it would be fun to talk to your dad, it's watching, especially where you're at. I can see where you're at now is where I feel like the sport, just the shooting, being able to dress up. And like, that's how I want my girls to grow up, that they can do everything. But it's like, where now I'm at that torn point. Like, do I give them the freedom to learn and fail, or it's just so hard as a dad to let go and to find that happy point to give them the freedom. Because I have, right now, she has 100% trust. She's never done anything for us to not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's a scary world.
It's scary 'cause you don't trust other people.
Well, now with social, with porn, with phones, these kids are just
so easy to get.
They're not dealing with us that we're just running around the woods and being little hillbilly ass kids trying to date someone's daughter. Now there's like an agenda. Now these kids, like, it's almost like, and I don't want to use this word, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like, in a way, it's almost like a predator instinct that they've molded into. Now it's like a target. When we were boys, like, I'm sure it was the same when we were kids, some kids, but like now it's like, I very seldom run into a teenage boy my daughter's age and be like, man, that's a good kid. I'm like, okay, like
really?
that kid's a stud, or that kid's got a really good head on his shoulders. Now it's like, you can just tell immediately. Yeah. And so maybe it's just my dad instincts.
Maybe, but they're right. They're usually right. There is a fine balance where you have to let them go, and you have to let them mess up. I mean, just like
you do. It's part of life.
Yeah.
And that's why my wife, she's like, they have to learn. Yeah. They have to learn. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I know. No, I just want to protect them forever.
For sure.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
Yeah, it's
just
tough.
I love that so much.
When it comes to the dating thing, it's like, back to that, it's like, I felt it was a pretty fair, because, I can't be that dad that's like, nope, not till you're 18, not till you move out.
You can't do that.
Because you can't be that dad, because then they're going to start seeking, and that's when they hide, or they're sneaking things. And right now, like I said, we have 100% trust. Yeah. So what we came up with as far as dating was, it's a maturity thing. Because my thing is, like, back to being a really tight family, I'd tell my daughter, I'm like, I'm not going to allow a boy to come into our house that doesn't have a relationship with us. Yeah. Because I'm not going to have this kid sitting at my table flipping his hair and like, oh, fire, cap. Like, I'm just not dealing with that. No. Like, this is my home. I'll deal with the growing and the teenagers and the boy. Yep. That's just something you have to, I'm going to accept that. Yeah. But as far as the attitude, the personality, and I have some like mopey ass like kid in my house, I don't need to, like, I'm not going to bring that in there. And so at the same time with my daughter, I'm like, Christy, like, you have so many changes, so many things going on in your life right now that you're figuring out. Do you want to add a boy's situation and his drama and his baggage and all that stuff? So
when you want to, she's going to say, yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah.
Right. And so I think what we came up with as a decision as far as dating was, when you're mature enough and can know your self-worth and your value of who you are, that's when the wife will give me my wife will give me the green light and be like, hey, she knows. Because I think that's a problem with every age and every generation, is girls are so easy, and I'm watching it, and with her friends and her age group, and they're so easily impressionable, or they have some daddy issues, and they're chasing these things. And I'm watching these girls just crumble. They're falling one at a time, like just getting into trouble. They're sneaking out. And with the relationship we have, my daughter's like, oh my God, this is we know everything. And so that's hopefully none of her friends are watching, because I know all the dirt on them, and their parents don't even know, which is the best part. But it's like, I don't want that. And so now we've instilled this. So now she's like, I see it. That guy, he just was saying this. And so now she's starting to pick up on that stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is part of maturing. You're able to read this. And I'm not saying, like, she just went putt-putt golfing with a bunch of kids the other day, a bunch of boys, one of them she's interested in. Yeah. I'm not going to say no. Like, she has to learn what's a player, who's a kid that's genuine. Are they asking you genuine questions? Are they trying to get to know your little sister? Which having a little sister, which is my little twin, she's my mini-me. So I have a mole, and I have that inside. That is, she's the gatekeeper. Awesome. If you can get past the little sis.
That's kind of how my little sister was sometimes, Yeah,
that's the gatekeeper. That's awesome. But it's a tough situation. I couldn't imagine. And your poor dad, that's literally my nightmare with my daughter. I'm moving to Hawaii. I would die. I would die.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, dang it. I think that would solve a lot of the world's problems today, is like good dads. Good dads. It sounds like you're doing a great job.
100%.
Moms too. Moms have
dude,
an
moms have
incredible
the
job
hardest
too.
job.
But like a daddy-daughter relationship is.
There's nothing greater.
Yeah.
Nothing greater.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Sorry, that was a tangent.
No, I love
off
it.
Topic. But so you come back home after living. How long were you in Hawaii for?
Like 4-ish years.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I was there for a while. And then, things. While I was there is when I first started to get like, man, I lived a very blessed life, perfect childhood. I just kind of like floated and skated, and everything was easy and awesome. And I didn't. My parents showed me what a perfect relationship looked like. I went through nothing hard as a child, and even through my 21, 22, 23. I was living in Hawaii, and so that's kind of when I was like, this relationship started to turn not too healthy, and so I had
if you
to.
don't mind me asking. Welcome to the Wild Chaos Show. I'm gonna ask the questions. If you don't want to get into it, we don't have to.
No, this is good. I felt pressure to just fit myself into a mold that I didn't want to be in.
How long did it take for you to start realizing that?
Man, I realized it a lot sooner than I did anything about it, unfortunately.
Okay. So you put up with it?
I put up with it. He just said he wanted me to be a certain way, and in my heart I was like, well, he wanted different things. He wanted completely different things than I wanted. I wanted a family. I wanted to get married. I wanted all these things. He didn't, and so it was a very tough compromise. For me, it didn't feel like a compromise. It felt like I had to sacrifice a lot. He didn't want to settle down. He didn't any of this. And so it was just a tough decision. Like, well, I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. And so I left.
That had to have been a hard decision.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hard. I left, I was doing the whole thing there in Hawaii with him. So I felt like if we broke up, like it was time for me to go back to like, my family. It's hard. Island fever is a real thing. Like I just felt like it was time. And so I went back, broke as a joke, moved in with my parents, and it was great. I mean, I think about that time in my life when I was living at home with them, and just being that close to them every day as an adult, like having that real adult relationship with my parents where it's like more friendship. That was amazing. That was awesome. And so kind of just like regrouped and game planned where I was going to go. The infamous question, what are you doing? Where do you want to be? Yeah. Where do you want to go? And I didn't know for a while. I started going to CrossFit, and I got really obsessed, involved with CrossFit. I loved it. I had,
the CrossFit fever caught you?
Yeah, it got me. I had always been, active and in the gym and stuff, but CrossFit was a whole other thing. And so I got really into that. I pulled my dad into it with me.
Good. How old is he at this point?
55? No.
That's good. Was he a pretty active person prior to this, or were you like,
active, yeah, but just kind of, you get in these like funks and these don't know what to do. So got him involved in CrossFit with me, and it was really awesome to do CrossFit every day together, CrossFit competitions together. We did opens together. He came to CrossFit competitions with me, and it was our thing. So that was a really cool time in life. And what next? I eventually moved out of the house, still in Arizona, moved out to my own place, still in Arizona. I got my real estate license because I was like, maybe this is what I'm going to do. That's
a great career.
It is. It is. And I loved it, and I enjoyed it. Really, yeah, nothing bad to say about it. And that's actually what I was planning on doing here. When I moved here, it's like, I'll just get into real estate. It'll be easy, pretty good reciprocity with Arizona, so I was just going to have to do the state
exam,
yeah. And then things unfolded.
What are the things that happened and unfolded? So you move here.
So I moved here after a little bit. So life was just I felt for a while the urge that I needed something more. This little small town in Page, the small town of Page that I love with all my heart.
It'll always be home.
Nothing there for me anymore. A single 33-year-old woman, real estate. There's just not like much of a level that I could advance into a career, I guess,
Yeah.
like, you know. I just need something else. And I had been feeling this for a while, but kept putting it off. Like, oh, I'm comfortable here. I'm fine here.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. What if it doesn't work out anywhere else? Just all those thoughts until one day, like I was pretty much forced to like, not forced to move, but pretty much my sources of income had stopped. And I was like, okay, so I can either figure this out here and keep living here, or just go do it. Just go do the thing. So I was kicking around. I wanted to go to my sister was living in Salt Lake area at the time. Okay. So I was like, maybe I'll go there. San Antonio, I had a couple of really good friends who were moving to San Antonio, and they're like, you can totally, stay with us. So I was like, maybe San Antonio. I like Texas. I like San Antonio, or here. I don't know why this kept coming up. I know a few people here. Nobody ever has anything bad to say about Boise.
No.
I had.
We'll edit that on the podcast, Chris. So put that in your notes. We're gonna say Colorado, Denver. No, I'm just kidding. we got enough people moving here.
I know, right? Yeah, I get that too. I get crap for that.
So Boise keeps hitting the map.
Boise keeps just popping up, and I don't know why. Climate's similar to northern Arizona. I know, it's a beautiful area, blah blah blah. So I'm simultaneously like applying for jobs and places to work at all these places, and just everything Boise related comes back the quickest and the easiest. There's like no hoops to jump through. Like it's just easy. And so I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to Boise now. And it was within like a few weeks. I had
really,
just up and my mom, trooper that she is, helps me move up here, and me and my dog. So we got up here, and I didn't really know what this was 8 months ago, and I'm still like, what am I doing? What are you doing with your life? What do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like, oh, I'll probably just do real estate, and just like see where life takes me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you guys.
Like, let me live my life.
Let me do a million things. Let me do all the things I want to do.
Right.
And
good for you though that you're in the mindset of like I'm not going to just do the day in and day out grind and sit in a cubicle and just make the money and go home and live that life and just be miserable.
That's hard for me. That's really hard. But also there's like all this pressure around like, okay, I've never been married. I don't have a family. I don't have kids. I've literally nothing tying me anywhere. Shouldn't I be like wildly successful with a career?
I mean,
and so there's like this level of,
what's success though?
I don't know.
Happiness,
true.
Freedom.
That's true. Okay, true.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I know dudes that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars and they're miserable.
Yeah.
What's success?
True, but still, there's like just this, and it's a me thing. It's probably a me thing. It's
I get it.
It goes in my head. And so I moved here, and I was working for Amazon. Nothing again, like great people I worked for. They were contracted by Amazon to deliver packages. I was an Amazon delivery driver. Wonderful, right? Dude, that job is hardcore. Okay, I was walking like 10 miles a day. Like, no joke. So like yep.
I would not believe you, but I have a Marine buddy.
Ryan, I met him. It was his very last day. We worked in the same.
He hated it.
We worked in the same warehouse, and I remember it was his last day. He was handing in his stuff when I finally met him. I'd seen him come in and out, and then we met and we chatted about like different things in the industry and stuff. But that's so funny.
He was showing me his watch, his counter, and I was like, dude, you're just sitting stagnant all day. He's like, stagnant. He's like, I'm fucking doing miles running to people's doorsteps.
10 miles a day most days.
Do they put that like in the fine print when you're signing?
Oh yeah.
So they like let you give you the head. Yeah. He's like, dude, I'm smoked at the end of each day.
Yeah, we worked for different companies, but my company was like, yep, you'll be 20,000 steps. Like, I'm like, dude, okay, whatever. I'm here. Like, I need a job, right?
So it is that. I mean,
yeah.
Did you ever get attacked by a dog?
No, but a lot of people did.
Like that's a thing.
That's a thing. That's a big thing.
What do you have any crazy Amazon stories? Any delivery stories? You ever run into just complete crazy people?
Oh yeah, like downtown. When I first got here, I had to deliver all downtown, and I'm from Page, Arizona. Okay. Population, what is it, 7,000? There's no downtown.
Yeah.
I had to deliver downtown in the dark. I mean, nothing too crazy, but, you know, lots of drunk people just, hey, can I get in your van? Can you give me a ride? Blah, 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 blah.
People are asking for rides?
Yeah.
How late are you out?
Some nights, like 8, 9. Depends on how fast you get your route done.
So that's what yeah. Okay. So the quicker you get it done, then you're out, or do you get back and then they like load you back up? And
they like encourage you to help out other drivers who are struggling.
How often does that happen?
A lot. I mean, okay. Yeah.
So people have your back though if you're helping them, or is it? I feel like I wouldn't help people. I'm just being honest. I didn't
want to. I was like, dude, I've walked 10 miles today. Like, no, I want to go home.
I can understand that.
I don't think I ever really had anybody help me. One time I had someone help me out. I was quick, man. I was
hilarious.
Like, let's get this done.
Never would have believed Ryan. Like, when he was, until he showed me, I was like, dude, you're just going to a doorstep and back. He's like, oh, no.
It's a lot. No, you're delivering, like, some people, like, 400 packages. Yeah. You're doing, like, I'm trying to think. You're doing, like, so I first started out in downtown Boise, and then I was going to Mountain Home.
Okay. You have to drive to Mountain Home every day?
Mm-hmm. In the snow,
45 minutes?
It's no joke, dude. This job is not for the faint of heart.
No, he was, I mean, this dude is like a killer. Yeah. He's a Marine, and he was just like, yo, fuck this
I know. Thing. Yeah, I was over it. I was so over it.
That is insane. So you're driving to Mountain Home with just a van? Is it like a
Sprinter van full of packages?
And then once you're out, you got to go fill back up, or are you done for the day?
Unless they ask you to help. Unless they say like, hey, can you go help this person?
So you're just hauling ass out there.
I was trying to. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did they have sonar and stuff?
Some of them did.
That would suck.
Yeah.
I'd be doing 100.
But
everywhere.
like when it was snowy, like these vans were getting stuck. So I eventually graduated. I didn't have to deliver packages anymore, so I was dispatch. Okay. So I got to sit behind the computer all day and like keep an eye on the drivers. And dude, these drivers, some of them in the snow, they'd get stuck till like 1 or 2 in the morning. It's like, yeah, it's a lot.
Is it worth the pay?
No. No.
I mean, getting stuck till 1 or 2 in the morning, I would be so pissed.
Yeah, no, I was.
Well, especially here, they don't plow anything. They don't have anything to take care of snow. So, like, it dumps a foot.
We would have to deliver all the way out to Pine and Prairie.
Who's living out there?
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That is hilarious. They're the only other person I've talked to about this. But he was like, he's like averages like 10 miles a day.
Yeah. It was nuts. But the job got me here. I survived, for the first little bit. I was here. I got over it real quick. And when I moved here, I have a friend in the firearms industry. He was texting me one day, asking me if I could, I don't know what we were texting about, but I ended up telling him, oh, no, I just moved to Boise. And he's like, Boise, Idaho. He's like, I know someone in Boise. You guys need to meet. And so he put me and Amanda in a group chat, in a text. And so the rest is really history with her and, a little bit about that. And
yes.
Yeah. So
you had no prior shooting experience, or did you shoot a little bit growing up? Because obviously that's what she does. Is she the one that turns you onto it?
No. So my shooting journey, no, I didn't grow up shooting. I knew that my dad, he'd been hunting a couple times before. I knew he had guns in the safe. It was one of those things where, like, if he was going to the range, he'd be like, hey, I'm going to the range. That was one thing that he didn't ever push. Okay. And I think that was just a hard thing to, like, try to push.
Do you wish he would have, knowing what you're into now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of wish he would have. And so I didn't grow up shooting guns. I had 0 firearms experience. And I really had no desire to. But early 2019, my dad came to me with this thing that he had found on the internet. And he's like, hey, Jade, we should do this. We should do this together. We should, train and do this. And it was the tactical games. And
really?
Mm-hmm. And I hadn't shot hardly. Like, I probably pulled the trigger on, like, 7 firearms ever before in my life, And I was like, Dad, there's no, like, what is this? Yeah, this looks cool. What are these people doing? Yeah, this looks awesome, but there's no way. Mm-hmm. He's like, we already do CrossFit. Like, we can do this. Like, I can teach you how to shoot guns. And I was just like, okay, yes, this looks awesome, but this is a someday thing. This is like, there's no way. I don't even, like, that big long gun, like, what is that?
Okay.
You know, like, this is how new I am into this space. And yeah, that was 2019. And so it was like excuse after excuse on my part, right? Like, one day when I have more money or more time to train for this, or I know the first thing about this. And then the end of 2019, my dad passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I haven't like spoken this story much. So, I wrote an article, about it once, but I haven't really like told it. So he passed away.
If you don't mind me asking,
unexpectedly.
okay.
On his motorcycle, doing what he does.
It's hard to even be sad.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was doing motorcycles were his thing, his like top thing. Riding his motorcycle down the highway, probably going a lot faster than he should have been going, knowing him. There's an intersection, a car didn't see him, pulled out, it was too late. That was really tough for me. He didn't pass away right away. I was in Flagstaff, Arizona, and my mom called me and was like, Jade, Dad's been in an accident. He's being life flighted to Flagstaff. And here I am in Flagstaff, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to the hospital. And on my way there, I'm just these thoughts of like, did I tell my dad that I loved him enough? Did I spend enough time with him? And this thing about like all these things that my dad had come to me and like wanted to do together, but I was too busy, or I had an excuse, or now, Dad, I'm doing all these things and I don't have time, and just like racked with all of these thoughts. And I was like, okay, he's gonna make it, and we're gonna do all these things, right? Like we're gonna do our stuff together. We're still gonna be adventuring together. We're still doing all these things together. And he didn't make it. And then I think of my life and everything I do, and like me as a person. Sorry,
You're fine. Trust me.
And I think about it distinctly in like before my dad's death and after. And just like any excuse that I think I have not to do something, and if I'm scared to do, like, all of that is just like, it's done. It's gone. Like, I can't have any more.
Why before?
Yeah, because like, dude, there is no someday. There is no one day. There is no later. Like, we don't get that. And so
there might not even be a tomorrow.
Right, exactly. And so, I struggle with his death and trying to cope with that and grieve and all of that. And got sent down, a dark path, and life was really dark for a long time. My dad, towards the end of his life, was really open about he struggled with depression, and he had to seek professional medical help for his depression. And one thing he always said was he always said that he needed his regular gut checks to combat this depression. And gut checks were anything that was scary, got your adrenaline going, that you like feel that feeling right in your gut, where you don't know if like this is too much of a risk. You're just like scared out of your mind to do this thing, but you have to do it anyway, right? Like, you have to do it because that's what's going to tell you, right? That's what's going to tell your brain that, dude, I'm living. So act like it, sort of a thing. And so I always remember that. And when I was just really struggling, man, a lot of guilt around, I didn't do enough with him. I didn't, and even as silly as it sounds, the tactical games, because it's ingrained in my mind that this was like one of the last things that he wanted to do with me. And here I am with all my excuses. And so he passes away, and a year or so goes by, and I'm, thinking of my mom. I'm like, okay, now my mom's on her own. I'm thinking of my sister, and it's just as hard for her as it is for me. And like, what can I do to like just fill a little part of his shoes? Just a little bit. I can't be the man of the house, but I can do something. My dad always carried a gun. He had his concealed carry permit, and everywhere we went as a family, he carried, and we knew he was carrying. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's what I can do. Like, I know we don't all live under the same roof, but if we're out together, like, I can be the one. Who says I can't? Kind of a thing. So that's really how it all started. And I got my concealed carry permit. I did it completely backwards. I got my concealed carry permit. I got my first pistol, and I was like, hold on a second. If I'm going to be carrying this thing on me, I need to make sure I know how to use it. Mm-hmm. And so that started the journey of me learning. And I was that was like a few years ago. 30, 31.
And that's what started.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. So I'm very fresh, very new into this.
Good for you.
But I've kind of just like dove into it all in. I love it. There's so much that I love about it. It feels like something that I'll never be able to master. Like there's never a point where I'll know everything. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I love it, and something that I've grown to be very passionate about.
So then you come here to Idaho, and you get linked up. Mm-hmm. And so you've already have a little bit of shooting experience at this point, or did you start going through the classes here?
Nope, I have some. I jumped right into it, and I was like, I'm going to do this thing. Slowly started to learn how to shoot, how to hold a pistol, how to stand, how to pull the trigger, all of it. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do the tactical games.
Really?
I'm going to do it. And it's scared out of my mind. I don't know the first thing about it. But I start researching, and I see that they're holding an athlete camp, their first ever athlete camp. And come and learn everything there is to learn about the tactical games. And so I email them. I'm like, hey, how many? Because it's like a week away at this point when I email them. Like, hey, how many spots do you guys have left? Like, oh, we have a couple. It's like, okay, I can make it work. Here come my excuses. Like, oh, it's too soon. Okay, a couple spots. I can make it work. And then I'm like, well, what do I need to bring? It's all the gear. So they tell me all the things. I literally had to Google, what is a battle belt? How to fly with firearms.
Where was this at?
I was still in Arizona. Oh, the tactical games camp is in Texas.
Okay.
It's near.
So you're just like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I had to. I felt like it was this thing, I was in this dark place, this funk, like all this guilt, like maybe I have depression, maybe I should go see someone, maybe I should get help. I was like, dude, I need a gut check. Mm-hmm. Let's do this thing. And so they told me that I needed a carbine.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, there's my excuse.
Like, what the
Perfect.
hell is a carbine?
Ooh, yeah. I'm like, and so I email back, and I'm like, dang it, maybe the next one, something along the lines of like, maybe the next one I don't have an AR-15, I don't have a carbine. And didn't think anything of it, and I was kind of relieved, like, okay, I don't have to, this was like a really big thing, scary thing. And then they email back, and they're like, oh, well, we'll have one here that you can borrow. I was like, okay.
Like, shit.
I know. Like, okay. So I did it. I'm
not getting out of this after all.
I did the camp.
How was that? Okay, so
let's
break us through the camp. So the tactical games is a mix between CrossFit and 3-gun?
2-gun.
2-gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
No shotguns.
No shotguns.
Okay, so you're doing pistol and AR-15s with a carbine.
Yeah.
Which, with a lot of CrossFit integrated into that. Correct? Yeah. I mean, how do you explain it? You've done this.
It's heavily CrossFit, but it is like, it's strongman, it's obstacle course race, it's
rope climbing, dragon plates.
Yep, it's running. It's
it looked miserable from an outsider. Like
that's accurate.
Nobody would finish any course and be like, that was great. Like, dude's puking over a berm. There's some teenage girl laying in the dirt.
I know, dude, but it's amazing.
The atmosphere there was incredible.
It was a community, 100% the community. It's trauma bonding, man, out there. We're like, yep, it's amazing. And my closest friends, I've met them through the tactical games, and it's.
So what was the clinic like? So you show up completely.
Oh, I show up completely. Nothing,
brand new, dude, everything.
I've never, I'm not even sure if I've ever shot a carbine, but I know my fundamentals with my pistol, my Glock. I know how to be safe. I know where safety is on the, I'm sure of all that. So
you know enough that you.
I know enough.
Okay.
And so I show up, and I'm terrified out of my mind. I show up the morning of, at the place, and I'm like, I can still just turn around. Where do I get off thinking that I can do this?
Okay.
How do I have the audacity that I can do this, right? That kind of a thing. But I get out of the car and I walk up there, and immediately some girl I don't know, now I know her. Her name's Renee. She talks to me, and I feel immediately like, okay.
I could do this.
Yeah, just, hey, have you done one of these before? What's up? And it immediately put me at ease, and that was my whole experience with that community. Just everybody is so outgoing and hey, and I don't know you, but I know you now because we're both here, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an awesome weekend. And
so what they do, was it just like, excuse me, was it just a basic fundamental course, or are you like, they throw you straight into it? Like
pretty much.
How did it go?
Yeah, definitely don't show up if you don't know how to be safe with a firearm. But really, if you can be safe with these weapon systems, absolutely, show up, go. They split us up into groups, like beginner and like more advanced, split us up, and then we would split the day. We would spend in a CrossFit gym going over different movements that you might see.
Techniques, things like that?
Techniques, yeah. Okay. Coach just threw that, getting over yokes, the bars, doing a lot of stuff like that. And then we'd switch and we'd go to the range, and they would, it was pretty basic. The one I did, it was a little bit of fundamentals, pretty basic. And then at the end, it was like a 2 or 3 day thing. At the very end, they'd run us through some like mock stages that you would see. Really informative, and they even like showed you, like, we had like a lesson on like the carbine and like how to take it apart and all this. It is very beginner friendly.
Good.
It wasn't, yeah.
I mean, I guess that's kind of the whole point of that is like an intro to the tactical games.
Yeah.
Because from an outsider, it can look pretty intimidating. I feel like me being a vet and Marine, I would walk in and be like,
or it just looks like a little much, right? Like to some people, it's like, that's a little extreme. I know it looks that way, and they have great photographers and videographers that make it look super badass. But and it is. I mean, it
pretty much photos
and
itself.
really intimidating. Yeah, but it's not. It's.
So you finished that and you were like, oh, I'm 100% hooked, or
I'm doing it. Yep. Yeah. I went and I volunteered at an event first. Highly recommend doing that, just to see how it all runs. And then I signed up and I did my first one.
Which was where?
It was in Oregon.
How was that?
It was awesome. Really dusty. Everything went wrong. My carbine took a crap. Something with my.
So did you go home and like?
So I went home and this was the hard part, figuring out, is asking people, well, what should I get here? What should and there's so many, and I'm going just off opinions of people that I really trust, and I get all this stuff. I like pieced out my AR-15. And then had a friend help me put it together.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was
saved
cool.
You some money too.
Yeah, it did. It saved me some money. He helped me build it, put it together, and that was that. But obviously, like, my stuff has changed. I have totally different stuff now, and that's one thing.
Do you look back at your original stuff and like, oh my god, is that one of those like you've evolved into?
Yeah.
I mean, because you run that shit. I mean, it was pretty impressive watching everybody. I mean, you jumped out of the vehicle and ran the.
That was so fun.
Yeah. So you do the Oregon one is your first one.
Oregon's my first one.
And you were like, I mean, so besides your carbine, what failed on you?
Yeah.
How was it? Just dirt?
It was like the gas block, like it was loose or something, and then I needed Loctite for something else, and I'm like, dude, what's Loctite? Like, this is like legit. I just threw myself into it. And of course,
that's the best way.
The community was just so willing to help. I mean, Nick, he's now the president, owner of the Tactical Games. He jumped in and helped me with my carbine, and a lot of other competitors, even people that I'm competing against, more than willing to like help me get my stuff right. Mm-hmm. So that's really the best thing about it. But that was my first one, and I continued to do like 2 or 3 that year, and then I did some last year, and this one was my 8th.
How are you doing now compared to your first couple?
I'm better. I have a long way to go.
Oh, for sure.
It's humbling. It's a humbling experience, especially when you throw it in with like, you're maxed out and you can't catch your breath and your arms are shaking and your grip is shot.
I don't think people will understand us just talking about it. Like, because you if we're trying to compare this to it's hard to compare this to anything, because It's not like a 2-gun or 3-gun where you're standing stationary, they beep the shot timer, and then you just run your little course and that's it. You all are literally, I mean, I watched you guys do the one where they had the sandbags on the plate, and you're dragging the sled like 80 yards.
Yeah, that one was hard.
Dragging it all the way back, dropping a 25-pound sandbag, dragging it back down.
That one, we didn't even have any support. We were shooting freestyle.
Yeah, freehand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's ones where you guys are throwing the bags up and over the bars, which those had to have been 15 foot high. I mean, that was way more than 10 foot.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are doing that, rope climbing, and then you're sprinting, getting in the most awkward positions to shoot. Like, I mean, I was watching people, they're on their knees with their forehead on the ground shooting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In these,
they'll give us, and they've really stepped it up too with the shooting. You've really got to get your body into some awkward positions and able to see those targets. Like, it's really, as the sport grows, it's just getting harder and harder. And here's me, like, I'm already like struggling, and now it's, but it's so much fun, and I'm definitely better. I'm definitely more confident in it. But yeah, there's a lot of.
It seems like a really cool thing, and it's like I was in the two-way community that's how when social was kicking off, that was like my big thing. And it was such like a hateful world. Like, every company hated on every company. Like, with us having a charity, like, oh, we're not going to sponsor you because you work with them and they did this to us. And it's like, we dealt with that so much.
Yeah.
And then going to these big like SHOT Show and just the drama. I didn't see any of that at the tactical games, and that was kind of what I was looking for. Because I personally, like, I've backed away from the shooting, that whole world because of that. It was just so much drama. Everywhere you'd go, there was something.
Yeah.
It's like, God, can't we just have, just show up to a range day and have a good time? And then these guys did this and they burned us on this. And that's what I was honestly kind of waiting for, because it was my first time going to a tactical game. And everybody, I mean, if somebody would, has anybody got this? And there'd be 5 people would run up, like, helping each other out. It was a really cool atmosphere. The vibe was great. Like,
I know.
I mean, there was a few like safety violations, but like you were supposed to drop your mag and it didn't come out of your gun all the way. Like I mean, for how exhausted, and I want to just say broke off. I mean, people are smoked when they're going through the shooting stages.
It's a big deal to finish a tactical games weekend. It really is. Like, if you can just finish, it's a big deal.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, and even Amanda. So this is the first one that I had like a group come.
Oh, cool.
And be with me.
Okay.
Through the whole weekend. I've just done them by myself, and I eventually got comfortable doing that. But Amanda comes out. We're going to check in all my gear, and she's helping me carry my stuff, and she's looking around, and she goes, "You came to one of these by yourself."
Was this her first one?
Yeah, this is her first time checking it out. And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, I'm so proud of you. And that meant a lot coming from her. I mean, a little bit about her background and where she's from. Maybe, not yet.
Yeah, we'll get her on.
A little bit.
We're gonna have her on the show,
you're going to have her on.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And so just coming from her and her experience in this world, it was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm on the right track. Maybe I'm, kind of where I need to be. So yeah, it was.
So you found your little niche.
I found, and it's going to take me a while to like.
I mean, I didn't know they had it broken into, I don't want to say like beginner to not like expert, but I guess
divisions.
That's how division. They have different divisions. Even what's the top tier division? What are they?
Elites.
Mm-hmm. Those guys, I mean, just watching them.
Yeah.
You compared to a 3-gun course where it's just like these guys are running plates, just plinking every one of them down. Yeah. I mean, they're hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, and these are the elite, and they're, I mean, just but their speed is there.
Right.
But you're so
smoked.
You're smoked. And then you're running and you're sprinting and you're climbing and you're dragging and you're going up and over and under. And then they expect you to like just do, and so that's where it almost levels the playing field. Like nobody really has an advantage.
Yep.
Because you have this really cool flat shooting gun with the best optics, and you're reloading your own ammo and getting your.
It's a very even. It's not one or the other.
I'm sure people are doing things that give themselves a leg up on things, but like for the most part, I mean everybody. I mean, I'm watching. There was a kid there, Andrew. He was at the kids camp with my oldest daughter, and they became really good friends.
Nice.
And so he was. I wish we would have known he was. I would have brought my oldest. I'm glad I didn't, because that probably would be her new thing, and I feel like that's a very expensive sport to get into.
Yeah.
But he was there, and that kid's a stud.
Yeah.
And I was sending my daughter back. I'm like, he's just like,
I know. There's some of the young kids. Yeah, dude. They're
dragging. I mean, this is a 16, 17-year-old kid in his prime, and he is just like doing 100 burpees before you got to go shoot a pistol. Like,
I know.
I'm like, oh God, no, not for me.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And so you guys, you're hitting more, correct? I mean, those things are all over the place. I didn't realize how big it was.
Yeah, I know, and most people don't. They're like, well, where is it this year? Like, they have multiple. It's all across the country. You know, I think from like February to November, they do like one a month, one, sometimes two a month, all over the country. So, yeah.
Pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
And so now you're helping your friend.
Yeah.
I want to kind of dive into, because you guys just got an award the other night. I saw it on your guys' social.
We did.
All right, so let's backtrack and start how you got what you kind of got going on. Obviously, Amanda will break down the details when we have her on.
So a lot of it, but so I got linked up with Amanda, a mutual friend, and we texted back and forth for a while, and we're trying to link up. Her schedule is busy, mine was off, so we couldn't really make it work. And this was in October, and then Thanksgiving comes around and I'm not going home. It's just going to be me and my dog in our apartment. And she says, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And I'm like, oh, funny you ask, because nothing. And she's like, come over. So that's when I meet her. I her and her mom welcome me into their home. And I have Thanksgiving with her and her mom. And her mom
is
a riot, right?
My spirit animal.
Right. Yeah, she's everyone's spirit animal.
She's amazing. She's her own spirit animal.
Yep. It's always a good time with her. Yes.
I want her. Yes. Does she live here?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Her and Amanda. They live.
I'm having her mom.
Yeah.
On. She is one of those people that you just instantly. Her and I was like, we could be best friends.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I feel like
she's
she
amazing.
would just get you fucked up off of like mimosas or some shit. Like,
she's a lot of fun. Yep. Yeah. She's high, always dancing. Yeah. And the hair matches, right? The hair, it's a whole vibe. It's a whole personality.
Well, that's why I met first. So then Amanda comes, really? I was like, oh, nice to meet you. I was like, we need to talk. But I was like, but first.
Oh, that's
like,
so funny.
I got to get to know your mom. Like, this woman is hilarious. Yeah. She just took questions she had. But so you and Amanda get connected. And so I think, Thanksgiving?
I'm at Thanksgiving dinner, and really the rest is history. She tells me a little bit about what she's doing. I know just from her social media that I don't know for sure if I knew that she was doing firearms instructing, but she's in the industry. And so then she tells me that she's doing instructing, and that it was around that time that like things were kind of falling through for the space that she was in. So she was looking for a new space to do all this. And so I came into it right at this time. And,
explain her business and name and you can plug it all.
It's Athena Tactics. It's an all-encompassing self-protection, mainly for women. Yeah. We'll invite men to a few classes, but mainly women-focused, self-protection.
Which I think is very important because men, and I'm going to get so much shit for this, but it's true. Like, I've been on the range with dudes that are, like, top-tier guys, and I'm like,
I
know. Like, I'm like, I know how to shoot. I'm confident. I'll shoot with anybody. But, like, there's just certain people when you're on the range with guys, you're like, God, their guns are better. They got better everything. They're quick. So it can be intimidating, especially for a woman or young.
You guys can be very intimidating, yes.
For sure.
A woman getting into the industry,
100%. I can see that. So it's good that you guys are tailoring to the women demographic, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mainly women, just teaching women how to equip themselves to protect themselves, self-protection, not just physically with firearms or even, non-lethal options, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally.
I didn't know that. Okay.
You did? Okay, good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
good,
really.
Because I don't think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people think it's just firearms.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's mainly heavily firearms, but we do a lot of other really cool stuff in there.
Are you doing like clinics, retreats, or anything like that?
So, that's one of the big goals is to have do a women's retreat where we will shoot and we will teach you how to shoot. But, we hold workshops. We just held a workshop establishing healthy boundaries.
Like what? Explain this.
Like teaching women what to recognize in relationships across their life, just not romantic, but and
work environment,
boundaries, work environment, friends, parents, coworkers. What's your boundary that you don't want people crossing, stuff like that. What is a healthy boundary? What is a not a healthy boundary? What does it look like when people are crossing your boundaries?
And are you teaching them how to address that?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's, even though women will know their boundaries, they don't want to speak up because I'm not speaking for women, but like they just don't know how.
Yeah.
Or they feel that there's going to be repercussions in the work environment, so they allow. That's my biggest fear as a dad.
You're absolutely right.
Like, you don't take shit from no motherfucker if it's outside.
You tell your girls that. You make sure that they know that.
But I feel like a lot of them, even, who knows? I mean, you can say that, but unless you're pushed and you're putting that in the environment,
that's very true.
How do you know?
We talk about that a lot. I mean, we'll go over like toxic relationships.
Oh, for sure.
What does it look like? And it is hard as a woman. You kind of get pulled into these relationships that look amazing on the outside, and this person looks incredible, and then the longer you get to know them, a few months in, they're a completely different person.
Red flags.
And then
how
what do you do?
Flags.
Right? Because you're in it. Yeah. That's part of it, And so we do a lot of other stuff. It's not just the firearm.
Good for you, girls. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it is. Our goal is like, we want it to be a school. We want this to be like, we call it's the Protectress Academy. We want it to be an academy where people come and you continue to learn. It's not just one firearms class.
Not a one and done.
It's not a one and done. We don't like to do those. We don't like to do one and dones because it's a lot of information. If we're teaching you how to use a gun, you're not going to retain this information in an 8-hour class.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, firearms fundamentals is, for me, I feel very basic. You can learn that in no time, but it's the familiarization with it, knowing what to check, how to check, when to check.
Exactly.
And people don't. I mean, I've had buddies shoot their thumbs off because they thought their gun was clear.
And those are like the big questions that we get. Women who know nothing about this. Number one question: how can I check to see if my gun has a round in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's unpack this. Let's get into it. And those are really fun for me. I've like really wanted to like take on those first lessons, like the first couple lessons. Those are really, really fun for me because I wasn't there too long ago, and that's such a near thing to my heart, is like giving women this really great first impression of this world.
I feel that she's got a pretty crazy background.
Yeah.
But I feel that you are a key part of that as well, because it's not just, learn from a woman that comes from a military or government background. You have you that bring in a whole nother side of this. It's like, hey, I was just you.
I know.
Yeah, I wasn't. It hasn't. I don't know how many months, years, but like you can. Women, I feel, can relate to you on a different level because, like, hey, I just learned all. You're not coming in like, hey, I'm an expert. Look at me. I'm going to teach you everything you know. But like, hey, let's learn this together so we can all be safe.
Yeah, exactly. And I was intimidated at first, like, dude, Amanda, your background, are you kidding me compared to mine? But I've learned as I'm teaching these women and clients are coming in and they have these questions, like, you're me. You like, let's do, yes, you can do this. I promise you, you can do this.
It's not as scary as you think.
And so, it's a really cool dynamic that we have going on there, I think.
Good for you, girls. That's great.
Yeah.
I personally thought it was just I knew she did clinics, but I thought it was all based just strictly shooting clinics.
No,
so when you're doing your spiritual ones, what is it? How does that work?
So we put our workshops online, and this is part of the problem with new business, getting the word out there. We haven't had a whole lot of signups yet. Yeah. So we're working through.
Is it having a new business fun?
Oh my gosh. She's like, you want to come teach people how to shoot guns? Yes. She's like, okay, but also you're going to have to help me do all of these things. Yeah, it's hard, dude, the marketing and just marketing alone, just social media alone. It's a huge thing. But we get real and we get vulnerable, and the workshops that we have had people sign up and come, like, we're honest. We unpack a lot of what we've been through, the stuff that we don't want to share with everybody, that, hey, we're trained and we know what to look out for. We know the signs to look out for all this, but it still happens to us. And what do we do? And where do we go from there? And it's all about just like really connecting with these women. We want to form a community. We don't just want to have clients that come in and out the door. Like, we want these women to like learn and grow with us.
100%.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that makes sense. Are you guys just based here for now? I mean, is there a plan? Is there a plan
there's a plan.
Take it on the road?
Yep.
That would be pretty cool.
Yep.
So as far as the industry, I mean, have you done any big shows, or I mean, have you been exposed to the world of the 2A world?
Yeah, this year SHOT Show was my first.
How was that?
It was my first one, fully experiencing. It was amazing.
That's because it
was so much fun.
I
was like a little kid in a candy store. And
I feel everybody, if you own a firearm, should go to SHOT Show at least once, but I feel like
I know. Everybody, people tell me, most people are over it, and it is a lot. It's a lot of work. We went helping my buddy with his marketing. He has a marketing business in this space.
What's he do?
It's called Clear Path Marketing.
Okay.
And so just pretty much anything in this industry, he's going to market your stuff. He's going to get the word out. And yeah, he has a really cool approach to it. His name is Johnny. So if you need marketing, he's your man, Johnny. Anyways.
That's where you look at the camera. And
so thanks to Johnny for bringing me to SHOT Show, my very first one. It was a lot.
SHOT is wild.
It was wild.
Wild
a lot
experience.
of walking, a lot of talking.
Very overwhelming.
Very overwhelming.
How long until your voice was shot?
Oh man, yeah. After the first day, for sure, my throat was, or
done.
Maybe that was because I was getting sick already. But
the SHOT Show crud. So that is a real thing, and I try to explain it to people, and they're like, well, if you do a full week at SHOT Show, you're getting sick. Like, 100%.
Yeah, I didn't believe it. I'm like,
and then it lasts for like a month.
Yeah,
No, it's.
Oh my gosh, it drug on and on and on.
We've literally broke this down because I've worked for businesses in the industry where we all went.
Yeah.
Like all the staff, owners, and we would all come back, and then nothing ever gets done for the month after you get back from SHOT because everyone's sick.
Yeah, Amanda and I both got sick, and we're like, dude, we just can't do it like for so long. We were sick forever.
You get this crud, and then the worst part about that is that's where, especially the last company when I was with them, it was a hunting, obviously outdoor brand. So we would literally roll from SHOT to Expo.
Oh, the next show.
Expo to Expo. It's just the next show, the next show, the next show, and you just never. And then you're out with the after parties.
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking out and the sun's coming up, and you're like, oh, God.
I know, and I just want to talk to everybody and connect with everybody and make sure that I hit everybody. Yeah, so it was really fun. It was a big experience. Yeah,
Are you going to go back?
I'd go back, maybe one more year.
Yeah. I think the best thing to do is when, like, my last couple of years of going, I would try to line all my meetings up for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I would come in, boom, 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 knock them, and then I was out. And I'm like, hand sanitizer, like taking baths and rubbing alcohol.
I did. Some people I knew were like, I'm only coming in for this day, and then I'm
those
gone.
are the people that have done the tour. Yeah. So you come in, line everything up, and you're out, and then you're just like, oh, thank God. And you get home and you're not sick. It's the greatest feeling. It's the greatest feeling. So that was the point that I got to.
Good pro tip there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapstick, hand sanitizer, vitamin C, emergency.
Yeah.
Yep, those are like the SHOT Show beginner kit. Yeah. So it's hilarious. Funny. Well, I'm glad that we got a chance to finally sit down and shoot the shit.
I think I need an award though. I think I'm like the most normal, regular person you've had on this show.
No. Speaking of awards.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did. We got an award.
That reminds me, you guys just received.
We did. We got.
We almost missed this shit.
Idaho's best specialty school. All of Idaho. Athena Tactics
got. That's pretty okay. I'm obviously going to talk about it when we get her on, but I want you to explain because this is pretty incredible. I mean, you guys just won this last night or the night before? When did you guys
just a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
This was Wednesday. Yeah, a couple nights ago.
Oh yeah, 2 nights.
Yeah, we got someone nominated us for probably like best firearms instructor school. Okay. But they didn't have a firearms category, so they stuck us in best specialty school, which had like Paul Mitchell and all of these like national cosmetology schools, hair schools. And we got the email that we won Treasure Valley. And so we're like, oh, this is so cool, great. We won the region. Okay. It's awesome because we're not gonna win against Paul Mitchell. Right?
So you're going against like nationally
these are national
schools
all across the country. Yeah.
How many do you know was on the list?
I can't remember how many were on the list.
Was there a decent amount?
There was a decent amount.
So you're going against cosmetology schools.
Yep. So we went against the Paul Mitchells and cosmetology schools in Treasure Valley.
Yeah.
We won Treasure Valley, but then there was
the state.
So they're like, so you're invited to the award ceremony, and we're like, cool, let's go. Like, we'll get our regional award. This will be great. you know, and literally says Athena Tactics, and we look at each other and we're just like, what?
Did they like present it on like the big screen or?
Yeah,
oh, really? And you guys'
Tactics
name popped up.
Yeah. So we went up there and got our award, and we've got a plaque, and yeah, we're just really excited about it because this is special. This is huge. Like, I really believe in what we're doing. And so I think this is just like, it kind of confirms that, okay, what we're doing is, this is awesome and people want this.
There's something behind it.
Yeah, there's something there.
So you guys win an award. I mean, how long have you guys been doing this? How long?
So Amanda's been instructing, I think, for like a couple years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
A year and a half, couple years. Athena Tactics just recently had its 1-year anniversary from when she created the LLC.
Good for you guys.
Yeah, and we just got the brick and mortar in January, March.
Oh, so you guys have an actual shop.
Yeah, we have an actual place.
Is that where you're holding your clinics and everything?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's where we do most of our trainings and our workshops. Then, you know, we'll go out to the range too. So, yeah, we just got that space in January. We had our grand opening in March, and here we are.
Won this award.
Yeah.
Damn, good for you, ladies. You're on a roll.
Yeah. We are on a roll.
Good for you. Keep the momentum going. Yeah, that's why I want to get you guys on here, and that way it's, man, that's awesome. I mean, you guys are making a wave. So I got a question.
Yeah.
Being 2 women in the industry, a very male-dominated industry, it's so weird. Okay, I got to just vent something. I didn't grow up I grew up very traditional.
Yeah.
Right? In that household. And I'll admit, I'm not male chauvinistic, but I've definitely leaned women have their roles, men have their roles, especially in the military. Combat, I'm one of those. I'll die on that hill. It throws a whole different wrench into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But there's roles for everybody.
Yeah.
I'll 100% for that. But as a girl dad, I'm like, my kids will my daughters will run laps around your sons, 100%. Yeah. So it's changed me a lot. Fuck, girls can do anything. I'm one of those girl power, you know, hey, you just have to as a girl dad. But there's still certain things I'm like, hey,
absolutely.
The shooting industry is a very male dominant sport. How is it trying to crack into that? I'm sure you guys are getting some backlash.
It's hard. We are.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's tough. And especially, as far as I know, I don't think there's anybody in this area who is woman focused, doing exactly what we're doing.
Good. You got a niche then.
And I think we're ruffling some feathers out there.
Good.
I honestly think we are. And we're seeing people kind of doing similar things that we're doing now. And I'm like, hey, let's just take it as a compliment. And
100%.
we're gonna go with this. But it's hard. And there is a little piece of that where we're like, man, we're not are we as good as these guys? But of course, yeah, we are. Yeah, we're as good as these guys.
But I don't think it comes down to as good, right? I feel it comes down to, are we able to educate?
Yes.
Because anybody can go sign up for these tier 1 dudes, and you can go and shoot and beat the timer and all that stuff, which is great. Work yourself to that.
Right.
But as far as being good, it's more coming to the education part of the things.
And that's really where we want to go with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I feel you don't try to build the stigma can we compete with the guys as far as being able to be as accurate or fat.
Yeah.
None of that. And that's another thing that kind of drives me nuts in the shooting world is all these guys, they'll book these classes or these courses to go learn how to just run and gun. But in a real world environment, that shit never fucking happens.
Yeah.
Never. Ever.
Yeah.
And you see all these dudes, and everybody's jerking off over these half of them aren't even combat veterans that are giving these classes that people worship. And it's I've never seen one person in my life ever do a speed reload on a battlefield.
But it's high speed and it's cool and it's sexy and it
gets views. It gets views. That's why I feel it's more of the education side, especially when it comes to women, because y'all are very analytical and break everything down.
Nope. We know how women learn. We know how they want to learn, and so that is a big approach of how we teach. It's heavily educational, and we deep dive into every little portion and why you do it this way and why you don't do it this way and why do we repeat these things over and over and over again. We take a neuroscience approach to it where it's repetition, it's muscle memory, and we got to get these things down before we go.
The absolute basics.
Add all the stress, the noise, the recoil, all of the scary things that happen at the range, you know, and so. Yeah.
What is the classes that you've done so far? have you seen like a common thing with women? Are these like just housewives? Are these business owners? I feel like the real estate industry, my wife had a really scary encounter and it woke her up. She actually can shoot a pistol better than me. Yeah. And so she had an incident one night, and I've never like had my wife's ass before, like absolutely chewed her until this moment, because she got fucking caught about her situational awareness, which is like, whenever I'm in anywhere with like, and I'm not, this isn't like the vet part of me, but this is just the world we live in. There's predators, people are watching. And I'm like, especially with my daughter, like, if you don't create a pattern, you take different routes, like those little things, right?
We do. We're big on situational awareness, all those things.
And my wife, she, against everything that I've taught, and she knew it too, and she called, I can hear it in her voice, and she's one of those, like, when you screw up and your dad just chooses you, you knew you screw up. She got caught. A guy walked. It was the neighbor, thank God. But it was after hours. This client left something, and she had to go grab it for him before the showing the next morning. It was late, and she rolled up, and the neighbor walked right up on her as she's unlocking the lockbox. And she carries a pistol. Yeah. But I've always told her, like, if it's in your purse zipped up, I'm going to have you on the ground or in wherever I want you before you're ever going to be able to get. If I wanted to, there's no like. And so that was like her aha moment. Like, so it'd be awesome to actually send her and my daughter. I don't know how old, what's your youngest age that you do?
We've got one in there right now that I think is 14 or 15.
Okay.
I mean, we'll do kids. We have a lot of parents that, will you teach my kids safety? Yeah, of course.
I think it's just more of like a carry. Cause for women, it's different. Like I'll deal with an annoying appendix holster.
Oh, it's much different for women.
So, and I don't know how to train. So it would be cool. But I also, after talking to Amanda, I want to put together like a veteran wife clinic for you guys. So you hear about all the husbands all go and shoot, like, why can't we get the wives involved? So that would be something that maybe we can talk about and putting together a clinic for y'all for that.
We have an enhanced concealed carry couples course. We're doing a lot more couples things.
Cool.
We're doing like a couples range day.
How are the guys receptive to being taught by women?
So I haven't been in on one where we've taught men, any men have been in yet. And to be honest, I don't know that Amanda has yet. So these are going to be our first ones.
Oh, cool. I'm excited to hear how that goes.
And we've already got sign-ups, so we're stoked. Like, this is going to be great. But yeah, we've already talked about that, like lots more couple things. We're all about, making the family unit stronger. We're not like we're teaching women how to do a man's job. It's not what we're about.
And there's really so that's a stigma too. Like, this is a man's job. Yeah. It's not. It's
right.
If it comes to your kids, like, I want my wife to be able, if I'm not there or if I'm paying or on the bat and something happens, like, it should always fall on, I feel like, as a father, as a husband, all of that world falls on my shoulders, but I'm not always going to be there.
But you're not always there, right? You're out of town or you're at work.
And I travel a lot. So it's like, I can't, and realistically, I can't live that mentality like, oh, I got you, because I'm not always there.
Yeah, that's true. And that's exactly what we tell people.
My wife is, I mean, she's with we homeschool, we're together. So it's like, that would be something that I'm very interested in getting the family, at least my wife, my oldest. I mean, my little one, get her in there. I got a little 22, a little SIG P23, I think it is.
Yeah, we love teaching people 22.
She can shoot that thing. But at the same time, like, it's different. I can draw from anywhere, but I don't know how to be able to teach her, hey, this might become more comfortable as a woman holding it this way than others. So I'm all for concealed in purses and stuff, but I feel like that's the most unpractical.
Off the body.
Especially if it's, and then if your purse is sitting somewhere, if it's strapped, if it's behind you,
take it off your shoulder.
They grab your purse and run. Then there goes your pistol.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we work through all those stigmas because a lot of women do want the safest, easiest, and they feel like that's the safest. Maybe if it's not on me, I'll feel. So we work through all of that, and we're changing a lot of thoughts around all of this. So I think
I'll tell you what's effective.
The cool part is
a pistol in a grandma's purse. My grandma beat me with her purse when I was young on a bus.
With the whole purse.
And I don't think she realized her little revolver was in there, and she beat my ass on the back.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it hurt.
And every time she hit me, I thought she had a brick in it. And come to find out, it was a revolver. And she was whooping my ass with her purse. I mean, it was deserved, but
right. Oh, I'm sure.
But I'll never forget blocking it. And when that purse would hit me, I remember damn, Like, this thing is heavy.
So
and then
funny.
when I told my mom that grandma beat my ass with her purse, and she's like, did you have your pistol?
Oh, no.
And yeah, I got my ass
It's
whooped
amazing.
with a pistol in it. So it's effective.
Go, Grandma. Yeah.
Go.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, my grandma was a pistol
I'm
herself,
sure.
man. She was a little spitfire. But do you see anything, any recommendations for women? If, obviously if they're not here and they're just listening to this, like basics, what would you recommend for a woman? Is there any like where to start pistol wise, or
That we offer?
just in general?
In general?
So like, let's just say you have a female listener, which I'm sure we don't have a ton on this one because it's all just dudes, but we've had a couple women on. We actually have a cop, a law enforcement officer. It was an awesome episode that's airing next. But
awesome.
is there any recommendations, like where they should start, what they should look into, any online classes, or do you guys offer all that? I mean, let's just say they weren't here in Boise and weren't able to come here. Is there, for a woman that's listening, and the world's becoming a crazy place.
I know.
And it's scary. And I think you guys, this is a great time to do it because, I mean, with how many immigrants are pouring in through our borders, you're seeing horrible things now. I mean, it's always happened, but I feel there's an uptick in with the political environment being such a shit show. There's a stress on this country right now, and a lot more people are on edge, and they're very quick to react negatively. And then there's a lot, obviously, with our borders being wide open, there's a lot of horrible things that are crossing our borders, which are coming into our towns and cities. And there's a lot of changes going on, not for the good, that I feel like. So I feel like this is a perfect time for women to start educating themselves on how to carry. So is there anything you could recommend? Do you guys have an online class? Are you looking into doing that?
We're looking into that. We're
like,
looking
where does a
into
woman
rolling
start?
all that out. I mean, if you're in the Treasure Valley, come see us.
For sure.
If not, I think just Google, start on Google, talk to people. Hey, who have you learned from? Do you know these? Vet your instructor, read through their reviews.
Yep.
That's one of the hard things that even I ran into when I was beginning, as I learned from a few people who made me feel like I was stupid and like I couldn't do this.
Which, if it's killing your morale right out the gate.
Yeah, and it's hard, and it's hard. And I've seen a lot of friends, that's happened to them, and they're like, nope, I don't want anything to do with this. Never mind. Taking my gun back. I don't want it.
Which sucks.
It's really unfortunate. I mean, vet your instructors. Ask around. Ask me. Ask anybody that in this industry who would you recommend. Travel to go learn from. That's what I did. If I couldn't find any local, I traveled and learned from people that had really good recommendations. But if you get a bad one, don't stop there.
Yeah, I feel it's now is more, and I'm sure they've always said it, but now, as a husband, a father, is the most important time for especially women to be carrying, or at least know how to protect themselves. Even if it's it doesn't even have to be a gun. I mean, I think a taser is kind of a joke, but it's a deterrent when they're loud, and it's something. Are you guys teaching anything along those lines?
Yep. Amanda is I think Axon Taser certified instructor. We'll do that. Pepper spray. You want to learn how to use pepper spray? Let's do it. Anything. I mean, because some women just are not comfortable, and we're not going to push.
So you don't have to come to your clinic and learn how to shoot. You guys are offering, I mean, there's lots of other avenues, but I'm sure it's based mainly around that. But if a woman wanted to come and just learn basics on
it's self-protection.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All of it.
What's your social or any socials you want to shout out? That we'll tag everything in this, but if there are any ladies listening or husbands that want to be able to get their wives into, that's another thing. Yep. I would much rather send my wife off.
We get that a lot.
Take care of it.
Or women that come in, and my husband has tried to teach me, but he just tells me to do it, and doesn't have patience with me, and we get that a lot. Yeah, send them to us.
That's a great. I would much be like. You deal with her million questions. We do
couples too. If there's a couple out there that wants to come and learn together,
cool.
We'll do that. But Athena Tactics on Instagram. Mine is savage.jade. We're always open to any questions, anything. Seriously, I'm on a mission to get as many women, beginners, but mainly women, in this space as I can.
Good.
And
it's a great time to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's a very crucial time to be able to jump on board with this, and you never know, man. I can save a life.
Too. Yeah, for real.
Or more.
Yep, or more.
I mean, how I don't say incredible is like if there was ever a situation, but like the fact that if a woman ever stood up and just laid a motherfucker out.
That gives me chills.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to see it happen, but if it does, like, okay, like.
Yep. We'll see it.
You want? I mean, it's. Hey, we're talking equality on everything, right?
Right.
Let's
go.
Let's start carrying. Let's start carrying.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it, and I think this was great. You were all super nervous the first one, didn't know what we were going to talk about, but I'm glad we got into definitely the side of the shooting world and being able to help, you know, potentially get women, couples, and just teach them basic self-defense when it's, you know, with a pistol or tasers or anything else. I mean, you guys got a pretty awesome thing going on. Obviously, the state sees it, and a lot of other people do too. And I mean, to be able to win an award like that, I mean, it's just
we're really excited.
Pretty cool thing.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.